Thanks for joining us on the That's Rather Cavalier podcast. Before we get to it, make sure you follow us wherever you get your audio podcasts. Just search FFSN, That's Rather Cavalier. Give us a 5-star rating on Apple and Spotify. Also, check out our Cavs shorts on the Know It All's YouTube channel. Now let's get to it.
That's Rather Cavaliers, Cleveland Cavaliers podcast. Rocking it in the building. The crew is here. Big G, BP, Relly, and Take Boy Fresh bring you live to you on Apple Radio and Spotify. We got a 2-part series tonight on That's Rather Cavaliers podcast. Part 1, we're going to break down a little bit of information pertaining to the Cavs and the draft. And part 2, we're going to give you all that other NBA news and NBA flavor. But before we get to the pod, man, I got to say what's up to the fellas. Relly, man, what's crack-a-lacking, man? You in the building. What's happening?
Nothing much, but I'm excited to be here.
My man. Tay Boy Fresh, what's going on with you? Let's get this Cavs talk in. What's happening?
What's up, Big G? It's nice to have the whole crew together for the first time, the 4 of us.
Yes, sir. The crew is in the building.
That's nice. BP sent out some stats the other day. The Rather Cavalier podcast is the number 4 Cleveland Cavalier podcast on Apple Podcasts, and we relatively brand new. We've been at this for about a couple months, but we're gonna try and keep growing and get up there.
Yeah, growing and moving and grooving. Let's do this, man. And last but not least, BP, you in the building, baby. What's crack-a-lacking?
Hey, it's good to see you back on board, Big G. It's good to be back with you guys, and of course, I love talking NBA draft.
Yeah, for sure. All right, fellas. First topic of part 1 tonight. Do the Cavs make a move to trade up from the 49th pick of the draft to do something relevant to increase our ability to move our roster in position to challenge for the NBA title? I'm going to kick this off first. Relly, I'm shooting the question to you. What do the Cavs do with the 49th pick? Do they stand put, or do they shuffle the board to get the pick moved to get something big?
I think they stay put. With all the pieces that we starting to see move, I think the Cleveland Cavaliers going to stand still a little bit, see what's the motions like. And to be honest, I think a lot of those, especially 1 through 15, they might just stay still anyway. So you might kind of want to see, and then if you can get a trade to kind of get some more asses, maybe pull the trigger. But I think right now they're going to stay a little quiet.
Oh, for sure. I like the answer. Take Boy Fresh, man. The question to you, are they playing chess or are they playing checkers? Do we move the piece and go big fish hunting to try to pair it with something else, or do we stand pat?
I don't know that we're capable of going big fish hunting, Big G. But I do think that 49th pick, I think the Cavs are either going to try and trade up or buy their way. Big money Dan Gilbert got that bread. He can buy a early second round pick or something like that. Maybe get up there. And I think small forward has to be the answer to what they need to draft. I mean, you could arguably go best available, but there's no need on that team like a small forward, a wing player that's long and can play defense and knock down a couple threes. So I think that's really the thing to do. They can move up to like that between 35 and 30 range. If either trading 49 as a piece or either just spending the bread like they did a couple years ago when they got Kevin Porter Jr. They basically bought that pick from Detroit. So I think they could do something like that again. I'd like to see them do it. I don't think they can stand pat. And as far as making a move, a free agent move, I like to see the Cavs trying to get in on. I know the homie BP is big on Kelly Oubre from Charlotte. He's a free agent.
Yeah.
But I like it. It might cost a little too much money. The Cavs might have to make some moves. might need some Kobe Altman magic. I like to see the Cavs try and get Kyle Kuzma, who opted out of his player option for the Washington Wizards. And we all in the thread and the text talking about how trash Washington is and they blowing everything up.
Yeah,
go ahead, let them do something and let us get Kyle Kuzma, man. I think he'd be the perfect 3.
Yeah, for sure. VP, stay put, move the pieces. You the Cavs on the ground, Cavs in the land. What the Cavs going to do with that 49th pick, man?
Yeah, I've been saying, for a lot of 3 or 4 months now that, usually after pick 15, it's pretty easy to, move up into the back half of the first round. So, if the Cavs, we don't know what the Cavs are thinking. They worked out all these guys in Chicago at the Combine. I've got my eye on about 4 guys I think could help the Cavs, from like pick 20 to pick 30. Good caliber small forwards. So I'm actually, and Chris Fedor from Cleveland Plain Dealer, Cleveland.com, reported that the Cavs are trying to move into the latter parts of the first round to take pick 49 and move up. And obviously, it can be done very easily with future draft picks and money and all that kind of stuff. So if they have fallen in love with some type of a small forward, then I can definitely see that happening.
Got you. So fellas, sort of part 2 to this question, but put a little bit more spin on it, right? What can the Cavs do? Do they have the money available to do something, to bring a free agent in, take maybe at that 3 position you're talking about, maybe get rid of Jared Allen on a trade? What should the Cavs do outside of stepping back from the draft and looking at a player? VP, I'm going to start with you, man. What should the Cavs do? And we're not talking about the draft. What can they do right now to mix and match and bring something effective into the Cavs roster?
Sure. I said on our last podcast that I really like Jeremy Grant from the Portland Trailblazers as a small forward. His contract is expired. So the Cavs could either try to finagle a way to sign him or possibly do a sign and trade where they could use Karis LeVert's contract or Jared Allen's contract. Do some type of because Portland, they might be in rebuild mode as soon as tomorrow night because they can't find a veteran guy to go with Damian Lillard. Lillard's going to force his way out. He's going to want to go to Miami or somewhere, and then I think there's going to be a fire sale in Portland. And Jeremy Grant, he's 6'9", 215, but he shoots the 3 ball. He scores 20.5 points a game. I'd love to get him here with the Cavs.
For sure. Relly, same question. What can the Cavs do? We're not talking about the draft, but what can they potentially do to bring something of value to the Cavs roster and mix it up? Because we're shooting for first place. I don't know about everybody else. We shooting to win the Eastern Conference. So what do we need to do in order to mix this thing up and bring a player in that you really like?
I think you got to hit up Toronto. They're in a situation right now where all their pieces on the table. I think you got to see what's the value for OG Anunoby. I think because the money works, you can get Karis LeVert, sign and trade, probably throw like a tangible player like Rubio or something like that, and then another small piece, and you can get that done. Maybe throw in the second round pick. They might ask for that pick just for another player, just for that rebuild. But I think you do that if you really want to make a splash. You get a 3-and-D guy. You get somebody who can actually play with everybody. Now, the only question though is if you get OG Anunoby, do you keep Jared Allen on the roster? Maybe use him as some trade bait, but I think you look for OG Anunoby.
Got you. Tate, the veteran of the crew, leader of the pack. What do the Cavs do to run this thing down and bring it in, to bring the piece that's going to help us do what we need to do to win the Eastern Conference title next year in Cleveland?
I like what both BP and Relly both said. I like Jeremy Grant. I like OG Anunoby. I'm going to go a little different way. I mean, my 3 that I wanted was Kyle Kuzma. OG Anunoby might bring a little more on defense, but I think defense was okay against the Knicks. I think they got stuck. They couldn't score enough. They was holding the Knicks like the 197. They couldn't score enough. So, we need somebody that's going to get some. And I got a way to get the Cavs more points. This is my idea right here.
Got you.
So we all know, we're going to talk about it in part 2. We all know about the big trade that Phoenix made to get Bradley Beal.
Yes, sir.
So you got KD, you got Book, and you got Bill, right?
Yeah.
Hey, they need defense and goons.
Yeah.
And DeAndre Ayton is not going to get no shots. He already was pouting when it was Book and KD. I'm thinking I send Jared Allen and Isaac Okoro to Phoenix, get him a defensive center who don't need the ball, get him a defensive stopper to play with them other guys, and we get DeAndre Ayton to go with Evan Mobley. Now we got an offensive center.
Ooh.
And we kind of changed the game. We don't try and be a slow down, grindy team. We got Darius Garland, we got Donovan Mitchell, we got Evan Mobley, Karis LeVert, and DeAndre Ayton. We get to run it.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And you got Detroit coming along with the kid. They got Wiseman, and they got the kid they drafted last year out of Memphis. They're gonna have two bigs too.
Yeah, true.
I mean, I like the idea of staying big, just shift from a defensive big to an offensive big, and going DeAndre Ayton for Allen. I think the money probably close to work. You can make it work. And Phoenix need those defensive pieces, man. They already got enough offensive firepower.
Wow. Hey, so check this out. We're going to take a quick commercial break for That's Rather Cavaliers, Cleveland Cavaliers podcast, and come back and get an instant reaction from Relly and BP about the trade proposal that Tate talked about to bring Ayton back. So we're going to pause for 10 seconds. Let's go. That's Rather Cavaliers, Cleveland Cavaliers podcast, kicking it in the building with the crew on the Cavaliers. Hey, Tate Boy Fresh just raised an interesting topic to possibly bring DeAndre Ayton to Cleveland. Instant reaction, BP. Do you think it'll work, or you think we can swing to the fence and bring Ayton into Cleveland?
I mean, I like the creative thinking, kind of shaking things up. I mean, DeAndre Ayton was, former number one pick in the draft. So he's definitely more talented than Jared Allen. Definitely, on the offensive side. But, he also makes a lot more money than Jared Allen. He makes like 32, 33 million a year. Jared Allen's making 20 million a year. So, and Okoro still's on a rookie contract. So they'd probably have to even throw in more players and money to make it work. But, I would be open to it because, Jared Allen really did fail in the Knicks series. He failed. Let's be honest.
Agree.
Ayton, it looks like DeAndre Ayton will not be long for the Phoenix Suns. They probably want to shake things up too. And so, that's definitely possible. So, we'll see. But I mean, it's a good idea. And I've said all along, Phoenix needs more bodies. They've only got about 3 or 4 guys on contracts. They need about 11 guys to fill out their roster. So if we talk later into the show here, I actually thought we could clear some salary by sending guys like Dean Wade and, like guys like Ricky Rubio to Phoenix. They need some live bodies, and maybe that could be a way we clear up some salary to bring in a guy like Jeremy Grant. So so I do like the thinking of us doing some type of deal with Phoenix.
For sure.
And Kobe Altman and James Jones already have a relationship.
Very true. Really, you heard it, man. I think Tate Boy Fresh is trying to get this G-Stradamus on and see into the future and see the way for the Cavs. Do they bring Ayton in and solidify the Cavs roster to go after an Eastern Conference title?
I think that actually sounds really good. I think that's something that would shake them up. Like, definitely DeAndre Ayton, like anybody watching DeAndre Ayton is a dog. Like, he's a good player. The only thing I question, and I kind of would want y'all perspective on it, do you think it gets to a point, because we've seen in the playoff, DeAndre Ayton has moments where it looked like he gives up a little bit, and he kind of just gives up. Like he's not committed no more. He doesn't do like the little small things. He give up on defense. He's not really committed on offense. Or depending on who's giving him the rock, if they seen him, do you think that would be a bigger issue for the Cavs than maybe a Jared Allen?
Hey, I'm going to swing that back to Tate. Tate, answer that man that question, bro. Tell him what you feel. Say it with your chest.
Hey, man, I think DeAndre Ayton, he was only reason he was pouting and fans because he wasn't getting no rock. He wasn't getting no shots.
Yeah.
Book, I mean, you got Book and KD scoring 80 between them a game. You know what I mean? So I think he could come to Cleveland. He could be the focal point of the offense as far as in the post, in the mid post and stuff like that. Garland don't really care about points. Garland we need him to facilitate, take open threes, drive the lane and kick. All we need Garland to do. Now, if he went from, I think he had like 22 a game this year, if he went down to 18, 11 assists, that'd be cool. You know what I mean? So Jared Allen was getting like what, 12 and 10, something like that. Yeah. I think Ayton come off rip and get you 18 and 10. Yeah. You know what I mean? And could Ayton do much worse on defense against Mitchell Robinson than Jared Allen did?
Nah, bro. Nah, bro. For sure. BP,
and then as far as BP comment, I'd go ahead and throw Dean Wade or Chetty in too, BP. They can have even one of them too.
Yeah. BP, I'm going to run the old picket fence play and swing it around the horn and toss it up to you. Just answering Relly's question, do you think it really works? Does he disappear, or will he be better at the 5 position for the Cavs?
What, you mean DeAndre Ayton?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I mean, I like the trade, but I don't love it because it still doesn't solve the small forward problem. You know, the small forward is probably one of the most important positions in the NBA. Every title contender has an elite small forward. Look at Jason Tatum, LeBron James, even Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon is a small, all these guys that are 6'8", 6'9", Paul George, who do we got? We got nobody. So that, you're just trading apples and apples. Jared Allen was an all-star. DeAndre Ayton's an all-star caliber center. So I like the idea, but again, it still doesn't solve that glaring problem at small forward.
So, question, is the small forward need to be a 3-and-D, or does the small forward got to be comparable to some of the guys you just named, LeBron James, Jason Tatum, and quick draw McGraw out there, Michael Porter Jr. So what type of player are we talking about at small forward if that's the issue and what the Cavs need? Really, I'm going to ask you, what do the Cavs need? If that's the position of need, what do they need at that 3, man?
Honestly, both. I think both would actually, because like when you look at the Cavs, we honestly desperate for any decent small forward. So you can honestly, if you plugged in Michael Porter Jr., for example, or somebody that's lower tier that's in the draft, like a Monty Bates, right? Or maybe you throw in a Aaron Gordon, those type of small forwards. I think that works. Like, I don't think, like BP said, I don't think we need an elite small forward because, I mean, you see Denver, I mean, they was good small forwards, don't get me wrong, but they wasn't a LeBron tier small forwards. And then you got Golden State with Steph Curry and Klay Thompson over there. They didn't have a small forward. They had Iggy.
They had Andrew Wiggins. Wiggins is good.
But I'm about to say, even before that, when they won their first title, they didn't have KD yet.
No, so I mean, Harrison Barnes was good.
Harrison Barnes was wishy-washy. He was let's be real. Harrison Barnes was wishy-washy. He did his role, but he wasn't like a LeBron or one of Jason Tatum type of caliber players. But if you looking for a small forward, you can get a Michael Porter Jr. tier player, Aaron Gordon tier player, those type of small forwards. You'd be fine with this roster. But he just has to be able to shoot threes. Like, he has to be at least a 30 to 35% shooter from 3. That is going to be mandatory.
Makes sense. Tate, question. If they make the move for Ayton, do they have the salary cap room to go after a guy like Kyle Kuzma and add him additionally with Ayton to the roster and just swing for the fences for the Eastern Conference Finals? What do you think about that question?
I don't think they can get both, man. Not Ayton and Kyle Kuzma. I think Kyle Kuzma is going to be making about $22-25 million a year.
He turned down a $13 million option to sign back with the Wizards.
No, he turned down to lead the Wizards and hit free agency.
Yeah. 13, but it was $13 million to sign back.
So he can go get that 22 to 25.
So he bagged chasing. I got you.
Right, you're right.
Yeah.
So I think to Relly's point, I mean, Michael Porter Jr. getting paid $150 million over what, 4 or 5 years. So They not getting him either. But they could get somebody like a Kyle Anderson. You know, somebody that can play, make, facilitate, and knock down the open three. He don't need the ball a lot, but if he get the rebound, he can go. He can, he can pass. He's a good passer. And I think he may be available. He's in Memphis last year, right? Like Slow-Mo, I like him. I mean, you probably get him for like $15 million.
Yeah.
I mean, a piece like that. Yeah, we do need a three, but I mean, if I have Ayton, Mobley, because having Ayton is going to free Mobley up to do so much more stuff.
Yeah.
Because between Mobley and Allen, Mobley is the offensive one in that twosome. If you got Ayton and Mobley, Ayton's the offensive one, and Mobley just can focus on his all-around game.
True.
His passing, his defense, his rim running from the dunker spot, all kind of stuff opens up to Mobley if he had a better five beside him.
For sure. BP swinging it all the way back to where the question started. If the Cavs swing for the fences and go for Ayton, is there a serviceable three out there that the Cavs could sign for a budget and could afford to put it together to have a serviceable 1 through 5 lineup that could win the Eastern Conference Championship?
I mean, that's a tough. I've mentioned guys that make like, $15 million a year, $13 million a year, $20 million. Kelly Oubre is currently making $13 million a year. He's listed at 6'7", 205. He's a free agent. The mid-level exception's $12.3 million. So, a guy like that might want to take a little bit of a pay cut just to join a good squad. He's really never played on a good team. He's played like 6 playoff games his whole career. I think Oubre could really help us because he's never really played on a team like this with Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland. You're talking, either Jared Allen or DeAndre Ayton. That's a squad. He would be getting like wide open looks in the corner, and he still scores 20 points a game. This guy is no loser. So on a budget, I would take Kelly Oubre Jr. in a second.
Got you. We done lost audio with BP. Can you hear me, BP?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead, finish your thought.
No, like I said, if money is a concern, I would take Kelly Oubre Jr. at $13 million, on a couple-year deal, and just figure it out. But I don't think you can lose with a guy like him. And that's at the low end. The higher end would be Jeremy Grant. So that's my thoughts on small forward for the Cavs.
Got it. All right, fellas, we're going to close out part 1. Parting shots from the crew. Talk to me, Tate. Parting shots for part 1 of That's Rather Cavaliers podcast.
Yeah, well, since we didn't get to it, I'm just going to ask the guys in their parting shots just to do this. The draft is tomorrow night for the Cavs. Give one reasonable early pick between, say, 25 and 35 if they were to trade up, who you'd like to see the Cavs get, and one pick at 49 if they stay there also that you'd like to see the Cavs pick. So for me, if the Cavs move up, we talking about small forward.
Yeah.
We talking about a pro-ready body.
Yeah.
And we talking about the ability to get buckets.
Yeah.
Give me Bryce Sensabaugh from Ohio State.
OHIO, baby, in the building. That's what I'm talking about, Tate.
He can come off the bench right now and be better than Chetty Osman was. Right now.
For sure.
Right now.
Relly, swinging the question to you.
Well, no. I got one more. I got pick 49.
Okay, go ahead.
And pick 49, we've heard all about it, but I believe in pedigree and just, forecasting the potential. And I haven't given up on Imani Bates yet. I think if the Cavs can get him at 49, put him on the G League 2-way contract, let him grow. Don't rush him. Let him grow. Let him work with the player development staff. I think they could potentially have something in a year or two.
Agreed. Relly, the question swings to you and your parting shots. Early pick, late pick for the Cavs.
So if we decide to move up, I think y'all right. I think we do try to go for a small forward, right? I've been looking at some small forwards that shoot the ball pretty well. So the first one I was looking at was Grady Dick. He's out of Kansas. He's a 6'7" small forward. He's shooting like 43% from three.
Yeah.
So he's a sniper, right? He's a 40.3% from three. My bad, but he's a sniper. I think that would be something we thought Dylan Windler would be, and hopefully that would help us in that shooting pocket. And then if we're going late,
they'd have to trade way up because in most of the mocks, Grady Dick is going like 10 or 11.
10. Yeah,
Yeah.
we would have to give up. And then if we doing late, as much as I hate to agree with this one, I would go for the Monty Bates. I think the only reason I'm a little hesitant because I actually got the opportunity to watch him personal, and it's just I'm just not a fan of his antics off the court.
Yeah.
But in terms of his game and what he could develop into, is Michael Porter Jr. And that was a player I wanted back when he was in the draft and people slept on him. Denver took the chance and they finally got.
Is that the year the Cavs took Colin Sexton?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I wanted Porter. I wanted Porter Jr. too. They were talking about his back and stuff was messed up.
But how I looked at it, I mean, in Cavs we wasn't good, so it was like, why?
But LeBron was still on the team then, so they couldn't take a chance with Michael Porter Jr.
We knew he was going to leave. He was technically on the team.
The draft was in June, and LeBron left in July.
Oh yeah, you're right.
But we knew he was gone. But we knew he was leaving. Like, let's be like, because we drafted Colin Sexton, with like that wasn't gonna be enough. Utah to make him available for trade.
Yeah, they have made it. They have made it.
After less than a year, Colin Sexton's on the trade market,
which says something about, like, no offense, but that says something a little about something. Like,
don't be scared, Relly. Say it with your chest. TRASH in the building. TRASH. So for sure, BP, party shots, and tell me what the Cavs do early and late.
So, if the Cavs trade up to, let's say, pick 25, I really like this Chris Murray from Iowa, Keegan Murray's brother.
Baller. And,
this guy is he's a mature guy. He's 6'9", 215. He's got a solid body. His brother's already made it in the NBA. His brother was the 4th pick in the draft. This kid is scheduled to be around the 24th pick. And what's odd about him, Keegan Murray is a righty, and this Chris Murray is a lefty, which is crazy because they're identical twins.
Yeah.
But I can see this Chris Murray fitting in with the Cavs, like, seamlessly at pick number 25. He can not only, he's unselfish, he passes.
Hey, BP. Yeah. BP, I like that. BP.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, you was fading out. I like that, man. My only question about that pick, can he play the 3?
Yeah. He's 6'9", 215. He's a small forward.
Yeah. I like it, BP. I like it.
Yeah.
So if we stay late, who do we go with?
I like Imani Bates, but I'm going to give you another answer, and this guy I've been tracking for a year. Chris Livingston from Akron, Ohio, and Kentucky.
Yeah.
This kid can play. Again, put him in the G League. This guy is like a poor man's Dominique Wilkins. I've seen him myself. Like I said, my son competed against him in a game. My son had 15 points. This kid had 35 points.
Woo!
He can dunk and shoot threes and run. I'm telling you, this guy's a talent. So, at Kentucky, everybody's game gets stymied.
Yeah.
So this kid is a much better talent than what he showed at Kentucky this past season.
Well, BP, I rock with you on that Livingston because I saw in the tournament there was a couple of moments where he tried to take over the game. Especially that last game that they got put out. He took over, man. It was his show. So I like Livingston at that pick if he's available.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Yep.
All right, fellas. Part 1 of That's Rather Cavaliers. For Big G, for BP, for Take Boy Fresh, and for Relly Hall. We'll check you guys out with part 2 of the NBA Draft Preview. Holla.